Welcome to the late night shift. My name is Lavender. Tonight, we're back on the Loch as we explore sightings of Nessie-like lake monsters from around the world. So grab a life vest, because we've got a boat to catch.
People look at you today, 20 years later, and they still have no idea what you're about. What you're about. What you're about. What you're about.
Issei, Lake Ikeda, Kyushu, Japan. Alleged to inhabit the largest lake in Kyushu, Lake Ikeda, or under its ancestral name, Kaiman no Oki, under the scenic shadow of Mount Kaiman, formed from a volcanic crater. Lake Ikeda is located in the southeastern part of the Satsuma Peninsula, in the Kagoshima Prefecture. The lake has a circumference of about 15 kilometers and a depth of 233 meters. The first modern sighting of Issei is said to go back as far as 1961, though the lake itself has a long history of strange creature sightings. During the Edo period, a farmer described seeing a dragon-like creature with a human head. The man is said to have slashed the creature with his wakizashi, with the creature retreating back into the lake. After this event, the man and his family would witness nothing but misfortune and tragedy. Described as having a similar plesiosaur-like appearance to its Scottish counterpart and namesake, witnesses described it as having a body length of 10 to 20 metres and report seeing humps moving around in the water. According to a 1942 edition of the Satsuma Peninsula Historical Sites and Photographs, it was documented locals would occasionally see carp up to 3 feet long, severed in the middle, washed upon the shore, as if bitten in half by a large creature. Our next documented sighting was on September 3rd, 1978, at around 6 PM in the evening. 11-year-old Hiroto Kawaji and his 16-year-old cousin Satoru were playing by the lakeshore when they spotted the humps of Issei in the water. Immediately fleeing to Hitoru's home, they told the adults there what they saw. Returning to the lake, more than 20 people who had gathered for a memorial service testified to seeing Issei before it descended into the lake. A group of students on the other side of the lakeshore are said to have also witnessed the creature at this time. On October 4th that year, several more people witnessed the humps of Issei on the lake's surface. At this point, the existence of the monster became known throughout Japan. In response to the incident, the local Ibusuki Tourist Association established the Special Committee to counter Issei, installing an unmanned camera on the observation deck of the lakeside to monitor it 24 hours a day. They also decided to offer a 100,000 yen reward to anyone who could take a photo of Issei. On December 16, 1978, the first photograph of Issei was taken by Toshiaki Matsubara. Toshiaki had attempted to document the creature for several days with no luck, when suddenly a whirlpool formed and the creature was alleged to appear. No further sightings were documented until 1990, with frequent sightings since up until 2007. While Issei's true identity is still a mystery, Lake Ikeda is said to be the home of many giant eels measuring anything from 2 meters. Other suggestions are that sightings may have been a misidentification of a school of silver carp, a large fish that was released into Lake Ikeda around the time when Issei first appeared. Champ, Lake Champlain, USA to Canada. Stretching from New York State to Vermont and even parts of Canada, Lake Champlain is the biggest lake in the Adirondacks. The lake is a popular destination for boating, fishing and water sports, and perhaps due to this, there have been over 300 sightings of America's very own Loch Ness monster, Champ. Champ, or often fondly called Champy, was first witnessed by the indigenous Abenaki and Iroquois tribes, describing what they saw as a large horned serpent or giant snake. In the early 18th century, the Abenakis would warn French settlers about disturbing the waters of the lake, as not to disturb the creature. The next documented account appears in the Plattsburgh Republican newspaper, Saturday 24th of July 1819, a man by the name of Captain Crumb was aboard the scow on Bullwagger Bay the previous Thursday morning when he reported a black monster about 187 feet long and with a head resembling that of a seahorse that reared more than 15 feet out of the water. He claimed the monster he saw had 3 teeth, eyes the colour of a peeled onion, a white star on its forehead and a belt of red around its neck. According to the witness, the creature was some 200 yards away. In 1873, a New York Times article reported that a railroad crew had seen the head of an enormous serpent in Lake Champlain, with bright silvery scales that glistened in the sun. In July of the same year, Clinton County Sheriff Nathan H. Mooney reported an enormous snake or water serpent he thought was 25 to 35 feet long. He claimed that he was so close that he could see round white spots inside its mouth. Mooney's sightings led to many more alleged eyewitnesses coming forward with their own accounts of Champ. In the following August, the steamship W.B. Eddy encountered Champ by running into it. The ship nearly turned over according to the tourists aboard. It's alleged that even P.T. Barnum offered a reward of $50,000 in 1873 for the hide of the Great Champlain serpent. In 1977, Sandra Mancy took a photograph while on vacation with her family that appears to show Champ with his head poking out of the water. Since the late 70s, hundreds of people have alleged to witness Champ. Champ is now protected by law on both sides of Lake Champlain. Experts think sightings of Champ are likely down to being a lake sturgeon, which are known to live in Lake Champlain today. Brosno Lake, Tver region, Russia. Brosno is a lake in northwest of the Tver region of Russia. Located in the Andreapolsky district, approximately 250 miles northwest of Moscow, the lake belongs to the basin of the Western Dvina, with a length of 11 kilometers and a width of 4 kilometers. Lake Brosno is the deepest in the Tver region, reaching depths of up to 160 meters. Brosno, described as a 13 to 16 foot long serpentine creature, the head strangely being described as quite small in correlation to the rest of its snake-like body. Accounts of its colouring vary from dark green to black or even grey, but one thing that sets it aside from our other stories is the creature has often been described as being bioluminescent. The earliest known account dates back to the 13th century. The Mongol army was marching towards Novgorod, intent on conquest. As the Mongol forces approached Lake Brosno, they decided to make a camp on its shores, allowing their horses to drink from the lake's waters. Moments later, a dragon-like creature emerged from the depths of the lake, its roar echoing across the body of water. The beast, which was described as having a serpentine body and fearsome jaws, began to attack the Mongol horses and soldiers, creating an explosion of chaos and panic amongst the Mongol troops. The sight of this monstrous creature was so terrifying that Batu Khan, the leader of the forces and the grandson of the great Genghis Khan, abandoned his plans to attack Novgorod. Following these events, stories of the Brosno dragon grew throughout the medieval period and became intertwined in the local folklore. Fishermen told tales of boats being overturned by the creature, while others spoke of hearing the creature's roars emanate from the depths of the lake. Another story tells of Viking mercenaries attempting to hide stolen treasure on a small island on the lake. As they approached the island, the dragon is said to have emerged from the water, swallowing the entire island whole, hindering the plans of the mercenary. As the modern era approached, sightings of the beast became more frequent, especially in the 18th and 19th centuries. These accounts often describe the creature as emerging from the waters at nightfall, only to quickly submerge when humans approached. One final tale takes place during World War II, where the beast is alleged to have swallowed a German fighter plane whole. Sightings of Brosno continue into modern day. One account comes from a family on holiday near the lake in the summer of 1966. They reported seeing a large, dark shape moving throughout the water. Multiple family members alleged to see the creature, providing corroborating testimony. 30 years later, in 1996, a family of tourists from Moscow photographed the creature. According to their account, they were walking along the shore when their young son shouted that he saw a dragon in the water. The father quickly snapped a photo, which shows a dark, elongated shape in the water. In the early 2000s, flurries of sightings were reported. Local newspapers began to feature stories about the dragon, often accompanied by sketches based on the witness's description. One particularly detailed account from 2002 described a creature with a long neck, a horse-like head, and a body that seemed to glow faintly in the dark waters. Much like our prior mentioned creatures, Brosno is potentially a case of mistaken identity, with the lake being home to many large fish species, such as pike and burbot. Or perhaps with so many sightings of similar plesiosaur-like creatures around the world, maybe small pockets of the reptilians somehow survived the mass extinction event, much like crocodiles before them. All I know is, paranormal is the new normal.